right, let's go ahead and get started. We have 5 of you here, so that's great. Welcome to everyone. Today's webinar is everything email for our focus training today, and today is Tuesday, July 17th, 2018. Today we're going to be focusing, as it says, on everything or all things email in ClaritySoft. And so hopefully if you've had any questions about setting up your email or doing emails, we will answer those questions today. Let me go to my next slide here. The things we're going to talk about are the Gmail extension. We have a Gmail extension for those of you that use Gmail as your primary email provider. We have not a plug-in, but an extension that you can add that will allow you to save emails from your Gmail back to ClaritySoft. And so I'll walk through at least an explanation of it because it's already installed in mine, so I can't really go through the full installation a second time, but we have a good help on our support portal. The other way to save emails to ClaritySoft is through your Outlook. If you are a PC user, then we have an Outlook plugin that you can download and install. This will make the connection between ClaritySoft Live and your Outlook so that you can save emails from Outlook to ClaritySoft. Also, with the Outlook plugin, if you wish, you can synchronize your Outlook calendar and your ClaritySoft calendar. The Gmail calendar is still under development, and those who might have a Macintosh computer, we have an Outlook plugin under development for that, so that's coming. And then we're going to get into talking about setting up your email in ClaritySoft. There is a configuration that you need to do so that you can send emails out of ClaritySoft. And you can send either single emails or you can set up email blast type things. Then we will get into the sending emails and the various ways to sending them. And along with the sending emails, we will talk about creating email templates that you can save, creating and saving your signature, and then how to set up an email blast and send it. And then the last thing is, after you've sent things out of ClaritySoft, we have a way for you to track them so that you go and see that, yes, your email was delivered, and you can also see that someone clicked on it and at least clicked on it and hopefully read your email. So those are the topics we're going to cover today, which is quite a few. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to switch to my ClaritySoft. And with the Gmail plugin, I just want to explain how to do it. Like I said, I've already installed it on my Gmail, so undoing it and redoing it would probably not be a wise thing to do. But what I recommend that you do is in our help system in ClaritySoft. So in ClaritySoft, you'll go to the question mark support portal, and then in the search you can type Gmail extension, and you will get to this page. On this page you have the link that you can click on that takes you to the Google Store. So you can click this, and then it already has you pointing to this. You can see for me it's already been added. So, but for you, you'll get a plus sign over here to add it if you're installing this. And then you follow the prompts to add it. And actually first you want to close your Gmail or log out of your Gmail, then do the addition. Then you will reopen your Gmail and it will prompt you to log into ClaritySoft. So here's add to Chrome right here. Then when you open your Gmail and log back in, it will prompt you to log into your ClaritySoft, and then it will make the connection. Now, one of the nice things that will occur with the Gmail extension is you will be able to save your emails to any one of these different modules. In the Outlook plugin, currently you save to basically to the contacts module, which is also visible at accounts. So this is nice because you can choose whether to save it to the contact module, or perhaps you want to save it to a particular opportunity that you're working. And so you can set this up, and once you're set up, then when you go to Gmail, you will see this Save to ClaritySoft button here, and this is where you can choose the different locations where you may want to save it. So if I choose these two, maybe these three possible locations, then when I compose a new email, I can send this to myself. And we'll just say test Gmail to CS. There's a test email to CS. And down here, you can see the little Save to ClaritySoft button. So you can click on it. Then it says, where do you want to save this? So you can see the three options that I selected up here are visible to me. So I could say, well, I don't think I have an opportunity for myself, so I want to save it to contacts. And then it's got the subject line. It says select from auto detected, or search for another contact, or create a new contact. Well, it found me in the database, so I can say the first option and then click save. And so now I've sent that email, which I will receive here shortly. And if I go back to my contacts and I look up Susan, and I click the little expand button here so I can see the tabs. I see that I have a closed activity, and there is my Gmail that I just saved back to ClaritySoft. Notice that the activity type is indicated with a G representing Gmail, so you know that this is indeed a Gmail that's been saved back to ClaritySoft. And then I also received it in my Outlook. So there's the email that I just received that came from Gmail. So wait a minute, it opened up my other screen. So there it is. So now the interesting thing, I'm going to try this. Since I received this in my Outlook, I could choose to save it to ClaritySoft from here. So let's see if it balks and says it already exists. We'll see. So in Outlook now, I've chosen to save it. It says create a new contact. Oh, that's because my address is not a Gmail address. So that's why it's doing that. So I'm going to cancel that for now, and I don't want to create a new contact. But that's how I could have saved it back to ClaritySoft from Outlook, and I'll walk through that. So it's very simple once you get it set up, and like I said, if you just go out to the support portal, look up Gmail extension, and follow these steps, you really shouldn't have any problem installing it in your Gmail. So the trick is to close your Gmail before you start or log out of it, and then click on this link to go to the store and download and install that extension, add to Chrome, and then follow through these steps, and then you should be just fine. And you will then have your save button, saved ClaritySoft button here. Choose where you're going to want to save things, and then save that, and then those become the options that you get when you compose a new email and choose to save it to ClaritySoft. So that is that one. Now the same thing is true for the Outlook plugin, and basically you follow pretty much the same steps in that you first of all close your Outlook, and you can go to the support portal and look up Outlook plugin. And then there's a little video here that explains how to download it. Once you've downloaded it, you reopen your Outlook and you will have this Save to ClaritySoft button on your home ribbon or home menu. And then after you've done that, you do need to do a configuration. And actually for that, I can pull this over here. You click on this little arrow in the lower right corner of the Save to ClaritySoft button, and you'll click on Define Connection Information. And what you'll have to do is click in this circle for Connect to ClaritySoft Live. It defaults to connecting to offline, but you want to connect to ClaritySoft Live. In the database name, you'll type the name of your ClaritySoft server database. Then you're going to click on the Create button to create an API key. And so you walk through some steps here. Let's see how far I can go, because mine's obviously already been done. But it'll open up another window in your browser. And then what you'll do is you'll log in using your login credentials. Oh, and I don't want to do this here. Well, no, I'm okay. And then once you put your credentials in, you click Submit Query. And then it'll open another window. Now, when you do this, you'll see these headings for these keys, but there will not be any keys underneath. And because I've already done this before, they're already here. So what you then do is click Create a New Key, and then another window opens that has some things to fill in. You don't fill anything in, you just click Submit Query, and then it will show you your keys. And so the private key is the one that you want. You select it. You can right-click or do Control-C, copy it. Then you can go back down to the bottom here. Now I have to find my Outlook. And go back to this window and click in here and paste your key. Then you can click Test and it'll say API key verified. So once you've done that, you've now made that connection between Outlook and ClaritySoft Live so that you can then save any emails that you've received in Outlook back to ClaritySoft, okay? You also can do a setup of the synchronization of your calendars. I'm not going to talk about that right now, but that can be done as well if you decide to do it. And there are directions in the help support portal, okay? So we have, once you do that, again, you can save an email back to ClaritySoft. I don't have a database open that would have any of these people in it, but basically you click on the email to select it, and then you just come up here and click Save to ClaritySoft. And then after a few seconds, it's going to pop up with this window. And if it finds the contact in the database, it's going to say attach to contact and have the person's name there and email address. Here, it's trying to create a new contact because it's finding my name, but I have a different email address in the database. So it says, whoa, this is a different person. And then I can go down here and say, well, no, I don't want to create a new contact, but I want you to save it to another person. Okay, so I could find, and this is actually going to my ClaritySoft database, not the demo one, but I type another person's name here and then click search, and it's going to find me in the database, and then I can choose the person I want to save it to and click OK. All right, I'm not going to do it because it's a junk email, but you just click OK. It will then save that email to this selected person. So this is nice because you have all options. It'll find the default contact. You can create a new one kind of on the fly and attach it to a particular account, or you can save it to a different person. You might have a situation where you are emailing one of your, someone else in your company or another team member about a customer, and you don't want to attach it to you, and you don't want to attach it to the other company person. You want to attach it to the customer. So you can click in select existing contact and then search for the customer's name and then attach it to that customer. So that's how you can do that. Okay, Wayne is asking me a question. Can you use both Outlook and Gmail in Clarity? I use Outlook for the business and have a personal Gmail account. Yes, you can do that. I mean, you basically, your Gmail is connecting to whichever email is your Gmail, and it should work. I don't see why it wouldn't work. Might have to test that though. Might have to test it. So yeah, we'll give it a whirl. So I'm going to cancel that one. But here, because you are making that direct connection to your specific database, then this is tied to this database. So that's the database that Outlook is going to look in for any contacts that you find. And the Gmail is literally looking for, I believe, just the email in the database. So I got to figure out how it connects to the database. So I'll have to check into that, Wayne. That's a good question. Okay, so those are those two things. So let's go back to ClaritySoft, and the next thing that we can look at here will be your email settings, which are set within ClaritySoft, and then this, like I said before, will allow you to send an email out of ClaritySoft. So you don't have to use Outlook or Gmail. You can go out from here. So what you want to do here is you'll click on this settings button in the upper right corner. And then if you're not an admin user, the set of settings that you will see will be the My Settings, and you'll see down to Change Password. Okay, so where you want to go is Email Settings, and then you're going to put in your information here. So you can type your name in here, your email address, and then this is where it gets a little sticky because we don't always know these things. So you may have to talk to your IT person or whoever handles your email setup within your company to find out what you are. You could be an Exchange server if you're using Outlook Office 365. You would be an Exchange server. If you're using what's called an SMTP server, then you would choose others. If you're using Gmail, then you would choose Gmail. So you would pick what you're using. So like I said, if you have no clue, you might have to talk to somebody. But for us, we use Exchange Server and Outlook 365. So the standard Exchange Server name is outlook.office365.com, and then ClaritySoft has its own server domain out there. You may not. You can try just the Outlook Office365.com with nothing here. The encrypted connection, if you're using Exchange Server, will be SSL, which stands for Secure Socket License. And then you put your email in and your email password, and then click Apply and to save it. So this will save it. It'll say it saved it successfully. And then I need to test it to make sure it makes the connection. So what you do is you have your fingers crossed, and hopefully it says set up successfully. It's either going to say successfully, it set it up, or it failed. And if it fails, then you have to go back and figure out which of these settings it does not like, okay? First of all, check your email password that you typed that correctly. That's the first thing to check. Then you may, like I said, have to go to your IT person to get help on this. But once you have this set up and successfully connecting, then you're able to send an email out of ClaritySoft. So I can look up somebody here. Again, I'm just going to use myself. And if I want to send an email, then I can do a couple of things. I can click right here on the email to open it up. I get a blank email. It's got my the email address for the person, or from me, okay, and it has email for the two, and then I can put in a subject. Email from ClaritySoft, and then I can type my email. Now, and I'm going to step into this next, you would want to probably have a signature in here, okay? So you can create your email signature in ClaritySoft, and then you can have it insert into any email that you want. So down here you see an insert signature button. I can click it and I can have no signature, or I can have a signature that I already created. And I'm going to show you how to do this in a minute. So I can insert a signature here, and then I can send it. So if I'm sending it just a single person, something I can do is type, I can type Susan's name in here directly. And in a minute, I'm going to show you how to make that more generic. So I could click send here. It's going to send the email to Susan. I will receive it. And then it also is going to show up right there. So now you can see the email that you send out of ClaritySoft has a gold email icon basically, and the Gmail has the Gmail icon, so you can see the difference here. And an email being sent is always considered a closed or completed activity. Okay, so once you've got those settings done, then you're able to send emails out. The other method you can use here is this row action button. You can click on it and click email contact. Brings up the same email window. So it doesn't matter how you get there. It's whatever method makes sense to you. Since I have the email showing in my list view, it's just as easy to click here as it is to go over here. This is one click. This is 2 clicks. So one step less. All right, so how do we create that signature so we can have that in our email? Again, you go to settings and you come over here on the left under my settings and you'll see email signatures. Now I've already saved one here, but I'm going to create it again just so you can see how to do it. And so I'm going to come over here and click the add button. And I'll type whatever name you want to call it. And then you click in the body of the text. Now you could create your signature from scratch if you wish, or to save you time, you can go to your Outlook and what I usually do, because I never can find the signature thing on the toolbar, the main toolbar, is I open a new email and then I go here to signatures to where you actually design your signature, and then I'm going to select it and I'm copying it with Control-C, and then I can just click cancel here and I can close this, then paste here. Now notice it pastes the text down, but it doesn't give me my image for my logo. So this is the part that you need to learn how to do, because you may have your logo and then a lot of people have your Facebook and your Twitter and all the different icons for those. And each one of those will be a different graphic that you need to do the same steps for. So what you want to do is you can either double click on the logo thing here or right click. I, for some reason, prefer to right click, and then I go to image properties and left click on that. That will open a window. Now you can see right here this URL is highlighted. This is the path to where my particular logo file is saved, okay? So I want to, while this is highlighted, I can literally either right click in here or do a Control C to copy, because I want to copy that path. Then I'm going to click on the Upload tab, go to Choose File, and then in the file name, I'm going to paste that path and click Open. So as soon as I do that, you can see here it says clip_image001. So that's the name of the file. It found it. And then I need to send it to the server. Once I do that, it takes me back to the image info tab where we were before, and instead of seeing that red X, I now see the logo. Ignore all this text. This is just publisher's text and it isn't going to show up, okay? And you can look at your logo, you can look at the size of it, and over here, if you wanted to, you could change the size if maybe you want to make it just a little bit bigger. When you type the width, the height will automatically calculate in proportion, and that's determined by this little lock here. Is you want this to be locked to lock the ratio of the width to the height. And so you can change it to what you want, and then it'll adjust accordingly. So you can see when I type this number automatically changes. So you just want to make sure this is locked, because if I click on it, I can unlock it. And if I click on it again, I can lock it. So you always want to make sure that's locked. Otherwise, things will get out of proportion. Then you'll have to start over again. So once I see my logo, I click OK. And it now inserts it into the text. Okay, and if I had other images in there, I would go down and right click on them, go to image properties and follow the same steps. Copy the URL, go to the upload tab and click on choose file, paste it down into the file name and then open, and it will go to the right folder. So you have it. Now the other thing you could do when you're in here, this is in HTML code, and you notice the font it's just a standard HTML font, so you might be using a different font and point size, so you may have to select here. I checked mine before. It's Arial, and it's 11 point. Actually, I may make it 12. So you can change your font and, change that so it looks nice. And then if you wanted to add anything else in here, you can edit it. So once you've done that, you then save it so you have your signature. And you can have different signatures. Maybe you do emails for different people, so you might have a signature for another person, or you might have 2 different signatures for yourself, and then you can choose which one you want to put into an email. The other thing you can do here is say, well, this is the one I want to make as my default. And then when you create a new email, let me go back here. Oh, I might have to log out and log in. Probably do. Hold on. Yeah, if things don't work the way they're supposed to work after you do something in settings, log out and log back in, and that usually will solve the issue because it's just more a reset of the database. Okay, so if I type Susan, and now I click on here. There, see, because I set that signature as my default, whenever I open a new blank email to send, it automatically puts my signature in. If for some reason I didn't want this signature, I can come down here to insert signature and say no signature, or I can insert the other signature, which is exactly the same. So you can choose which signature you want, but if you set one as the default, then it will automatically show up, so you don't have to do that. Okay? So that's how that works. All right, so you've got your signature set up, all your email settings are set up. Now you can create templates in ClaritySoft that you can send out. And this is really helpful from the standpoint that you might, when a new customer comes on board, or you just do things where you're constantly retyping the same email, or you're going to your Outlook and you're copying the text from one that you've already sent and pasting it into a new one. In ClaritySoft, you can create templates and save them. And then you just pull up the template. Well, after you pull up the template, you can still modify it to make it a little more personal before you send it, but it saves you a lot of time. So with that in mind, you can sit down with maybe someone else and come up with some ideas for the kinds of templates you would like to have, and then create them. So again, you go to Settings, and this time you go to Email Templates. So I've got a couple here that I've already created, but I'm going to show you how to create a new one. But just to give you an idea, if I just did a really kind of silly one here for a new customer, where you would open it, you send it, it says welcome in the subject line, and then it says hello and first name, and we would like to welcome you as a new customer. Obviously, you would type a really nice email. You don't need to put the signature in here, because when you put the template into your email, the signature will already be there. So you can type your templates, you can insert images into your templates, you can make them look really nice. You've got bulleting and all of that sort of thing, and numbering, so you can make it look really nice and save it as a template. So that's just one sample. And then this is another one. Again, this is real simple, where great places to visit. So it's, again, hello, and it's going to pull in the first name of the person, and then you can, again, type your email. So just, these are somewhat silly, but you can create whatever emails you want. So for example, another one that we might want to create is new. Click the Add button, and you can enter the name, and you could say, this one is, let's say, the name of it is left voicemail, okay? And then the subject for the email itself can be, sorry, I missed you. And then down here, you can click and say, hello. And then to put in the field that's going to pull from the record to make this generic, so no matter who you send it to is going to address it properly, you click on this little green button which says Insert Fields. You click here and you get a list of the fields that you can pull in. Now, those of you that have worked with me as the implementation person have been told the difference between salutation and first name. And this is where that comes into play. In your contact record, you have the first name field where you're putting the person's first name. Okay, so for example, in my record, my first name field is Susan. Okay, well, in the salutation field, you can put a nickname or how you would greet the person. So maybe my formal first name is Susan, but my nickname that everybody calls me is Susie. And if you addressed me as Susan in an email, you'd say, what the heck? Why are you calling me Susan when my name is Susie, my nickname, and that's what everybody calls me. So that's the purpose of that salutation field in your contact record. So if you are diligent in filling that field in and you know for all your records you have filled it in with something, then you could choose the salutation field rather than the first name field, okay? So just a difference there. It could even be the salutation if you're working with someone in the medical area. His name might be, you know, John Smith, but he prefers you to call him Dr. Smith. He just kind of demands that formality because he's a doctor. So you could put Dr. Smith in the salutation field even though his first name is John. And then you've got all these combinations that you can put together. And you can combine things too, because if you've put in prefix, if you have a prefix in there, you can put the prefix field in, then you can type a space, and then you can put in last name. So then it would say, dear Dr. Smith, Mr. Smith, Ms. Smith, whatever. So use those fields in the way that you know you would like to use them, but then also be aware that if you don't have a prefix name in a record, it's going to look a little weird because then it's going to say hello Smith rather than Mr. Smith or Dr. Smith. So you just have to be careful in what you do with these, okay? But know that you have that kind of flexibility, which is really, really nice because you can choose to address something any way that you like. So knowing that I have first name in here, I'll throw that in here. So I can put that in, and then, okay, I just left a voice message for you. Please call when you get a chance. Or anything, you know, again, you decide what you want it to be. And then you could put thanks, okay? Now, so I'm going to save that. And I can go back to my database. And let's say I tried to call Susan. She wasn't there. So I can say, well, I'm going to send her an email. And I'm going to come down here and choose Insert Template. Left voicemail. Says, hello, just left a message for you. Bingo, send. How many clicks was that? Like 3, 4 clicks? The template was already done. I don't have to type anything. It's going to address it to Susan because it's pulling her first name in from the record. And I click send and off it goes. So that's really easy. So if you can sit down and think about different templates for things that you type over and over and over again, you can really save yourself a lot of time in creating those templates and saving them, okay? So if I go here, there it is. So it saves to ClaritySoft automatically because you're sending it from ClaritySoft. It's also in my Outlook right there. Sorry, I missed you. So I've received it in my Outlook because that's where it went, and it's already saved to ClaritySoft. The other nice thing about these templates is you can share them with other users, okay? So once you've created and saved a template, you can click on the row action button and say share it. Then you can choose all the people that you'd like to share that template with that are listed in your database as users, and then they will have access to that template. So this is nice because maybe there's one person who's particularly good at creating these templates and making them look really nice and formatting them well. That one person can create and save all the templates and then share them with the other users, so that then when the other users log in and go to my email templates, they will see them there. So that's a really nice feature to take time to set those things up. You know, if you kind of notice from ClaritySoft, I'm giving away a little secret here, we use these templates. You know, if you kind of notice, a lot of our emails that you might receive from us seem like they might be somewhat, you know, a form type email, but, you know, your trick is to try and make it not seem that way. And like I said, if you do start one and you want to add another personal message, if I go back here and insert this template, you can still click in here, add, it says I wanted to you can add something personal to it and then send it. So you can have a basic template, but then you can still add to it before you send it. Okay, so use that to help save time. That's a really nice feature that we have. So I'll cancel this one of all these emails coming in. All right, so that's sending to one person. But the other advantage that you have in ClaritySoft is being able to send to multiple people, which is what is called an email blast. Okay, so again, what you would do most likely is create your template and save it first, what you want to send to people. Then you're going to do your email blast. And usually when you're doing an email blast, you want to pick a certain set of people to send to. It could be customers, it could be prospects, it could be to a particular email type list that you have. Maybe you have some categories for email lists and that sort of thing. So once you've got your template, then you want to filter your list in order to then pick the people that you want to send to. So what I want to do here, I want to send to all my people that are supposed to get a newsletter. Okay, so I'm going to come here to the Spyglass button, choose Advanced Search, and then I can go to the Communications List field and select Newsletter and click Search. So I now should have all of the people that are on my newsletter list. And down at the bottom, I see that I have 26. Okay. And that's an okay number to send out. What you have to be careful with, if you're not aware of it, with your email service provider, you usually are limited to a certain number of emails that you can send out at one time per day in order to not get yourself blacklisted out there as spam. So you want to be aware of that, and you want to check with your IT person, whoever your internet service provider is, whomever, to find out what those limits are. Because if you try to send out 500 emails at one time, you could, find yourself, getting in a bit of a pickle. So please check that out before you start doing major email blast type things. And they're going out through your Outlook, your normal Outlook, or even Gmail. Gmail has limits as well, so you'd want to check with them as to what your limits are. So anyway, once you do your search, I've got 26, which is fine. I then need to select all my contacts because I want to email all of them the same email. So I can click here in this checkbox, and that will select all the contacts on this first page. All right. And then this is the other thing you need to pay attention to. Down at the bottom, you have results per page. Yours might be set to 20. I have mine set to 100. And you have the total records found. As long as the number of records that you're displaying on the page is greater than the number of records found, then you know that you have selected all records, and you'll see why I'm saying this in a second. So I've got my records selected. The next step is to go to List Actions and click on Email Contacts. And this is why I'm mentioning this down here, because it says, well, what do you want? All the records that are marked as checked or all the filtered records? So in my case, because I can see 100 records per page and I only have 26, I could select actually either one of these, okay? If I had 126 records, then I for sure would need to pick all the filtered records. Otherwise, I'd only get the first 100 and the other 26 that are on the second page would not be checked. So the checks only go for the first page of records displayed. That's why this message pops up, if you've wondered why this pops up. So I could choose either one here and I'd get the same result. So if you're not sure, just pick all filtered records and then click Apply. So once I've done that, then I get my email form, and over here is a list of my 26 recipients. Now if someone is missing an email address, obviously they won't be included here because you can't send an email if there's not an email address. All right, so it's going to be from me, okay? Then I can type, I don't necessarily need to add a subject here because if I have a template, then I can bring that in. Now on the other email, the template is at the bottom. In this one, it's up here in the upper right. And then I could pick, I'll pick this travel places one. So this again is dumping the template in. It puts the subject line in because it was saved with the template and it's already set up with the field to say hello first name, and then you could choose here, you know, sincerely the travel team, and then, you know, if you didn't want a signature here, if you had a different signature, then again you get to pick what signature you want or no signature. So you get the same options, they're just in a little bit different position on the screen. Then when I'm ready, I can go down and click Send, which I'm not going to do. But when you do send, you can either click Send and it'll go right away, or you can click on this little drop-down button and you get to choose. I want to send it out in an hour. I want to send it in 2 hours. You know, maybe you want it to go out after the end of the day at work. So you leave your ClaritySoft open and you say, I want this to go out in 2 hours, and then it'll send out in 2 hours. So you get to choose when you would like to send it or at a specific time. So that's nice as well because you can schedule things to go out, and then they will sit and they will wait until the time that you've scheduled them for. Okay? So that's how you can do that. Again, whatever templates you want to create, I could, you know, if I went back into this template, I could probably insert some pictures of Zion National Park and Bryce Canyon to make this really pretty and look really nice. So I just sort of threw it together so you get just some text. But you can make your templates look really nice, and then you can send them. So that's how you do an email blast. So again, relatively simple. It's, you know, create the template that you want ahead of time and save it. Then go to your contacts and filter for whatever you want, whatever field you're searching on, and then select all the records by clicking and go to List Actions, Email Contacts, and then choose whichever one here applies. And then you've got it. Open your template, send, done. Okay? So again, very simple, very quick and easy to do. Now just another little trick. I think I've mentioned this in some other webinars, but you might not have been there. I've been working in contacts, which is where your emails need to go from. But let's say you have a situation where your filter that you want to do is actually in the account record. So perhaps you wanted to find everybody who's in the manufacturing sector or who is a customer or who is a dealer, and you don't have that information in your contact record. Well, that's not a problem because you can go to advanced search. Actually, I think I can do a segment search here. Yeah. So I can do a segment search. You might not be set up for this, so either go to advanced search and do it there, or you can go to segment search. It depends on your database. And I could say, well, I want to find all my dealers and apply. So I can then see these are all my dealers. I have 9 of them. And in order to send an email, I have to get to contacts. So what I do is I click to select all the records. I go to list actions and I say view contacts. Again, all records marked as checked will work. ClaritySoft now takes me to the contacts module and is displaying all of the contacts for those selected accounts. So these are all my dealers, and you can see I have multiple contacts. It's some of the different dealers. So that's fine. I want to email to all of them. So now I just simply select them. I have a total of 19 from those 6 accounts. Go to list actions, email contacts. There they all are. Open my template, send my email. So that is just another way that you can filter at the account level and then select those accounts, view contacts under list actions, and then email to that selected group. So I always like to teach people that because I think it's important to know, because sometimes you're sitting there saying, well, how am I going to send this to all my customers? I don't have that information at the contact, in the contact record, but you have it at accounts. Okay? So I believe I have covered, email tracking, last thing. In ClaritySoft, now, if you don't have the marketing module, or if you do have the marketing module, my database is a little bit different. This kind of depends on when it was set up. You will have a module called email tracking, okay? And when you go to it, you will actually see what's under this tab here. So this is email tracking. Up here at the top, it shows for this week. So we can see here's the sorry I missed you and the email from CS, okay? And I can choose a different time filter. I could go to this month and see everything I've sent out this month, okay? So if I had sent that email blast to the 26 people, I would have 26 emails listed here to all the different people. And then you can see over here, it shows you what module it was sent from. So you might have sent something from the leads module, which it would work the same way in leads. And so you sent it from the leads module. Perhaps you sent something from opportunities as well. You can send an email blast out from opportunities. And then it tells you the status is completed. That means the email indeed did send. And the read count, this will ping back when the person opens the email. And I don't know how long it takes to ping back, but I've just now opened that email. I don't know how long. It probably takes a little while to come back. Oh, there it is. So it pinged back as soon as I refreshed to show that I just read this at 2:55 p.m. on 7/17. So I double clicked on it, which is why I got 2 clicks. Okay. So then you'll know the person at least clicked on it. Whether they read it or not is another story, but they at least clicked on your email, so you know that they received it and they saw it. So this is how you can do the email tracking, because you can then see that your email, first of all, did indeed send, which is what you want, and then that the person, you know, at least looked at it. So that's there, and that's available to everyone. Like I said, it says email tracking here, and when you go, you'll see just this list. You won't see all this stuff if you don't have the marketing module. Okay? So with that, now I have covered all the topics. So let me go back to my PowerPoint here and just ask for any last questions. When you send, okay, Bets is asking, when you send a blast email, does it automatically copy your Outlook? When you send a blast email that goes out through your Outlook, yes, all of those emails will be in your sent folder. So any email that you send out of ClaritySoft will be saved to ClaritySoft automatically, but it will also be in your sent folder in your Outlook, because that's how it's going out. And that's why you do need to be careful with how many emails you're sending out, because it is using your Outlook. Okay, so you need to check on that. All right, any other questions? Per usual, I go right to the hour. So I'm glad everybody was able to join today, and hopefully you learned some things about email and now can go back and start creating those templates and get those signatures set up if you haven't already done that. If you have any questions or you have other ideas for future webinars, please email us at info@claritysoft.com. Also, if you need any help, you're always welcome to call our support team at 888-838-7487 extension 2, or email them at support@claritysoft.com. If you're working with your implementation person still, then you can contact one of us and get help that way. So we're always ready to give you help and make sure that things are working successfully for you in ClaritySoft, because we think it's a pretty awesome program, and we want to make sure that it's working for you to help you with your business. So if there are no other questions, I don't see any coming in, then we will go ahead and say good afternoon and talk to you next week. All right? Bye-bye.